All right, and happy Saturday to everyone here. Welcome to Nuke the House, and I've got a great card of college football here coming up as we lead you into the top of the hour with our big noon kickoffs here today in college football. Thank you for joining me here on the channel, and we get ready for the action here today. I know it said on the banner Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, and Alabama. I'm afraid I don't have those teams in the previews. Maybe we could touch on Alabama there a little bit. I know that Ryan Williams is out for Alabama today. That's kind of the breaking news here this morning. So Alabama in that game against ULM. Maybe we could take a peek at that one. But as far as those other teams are concerned, I'm not sure I have much to help you guys with some of those teams not even in action today. But I know you guys are here to check out some of the games that we do have in action today here, and we'll lead you right up until kickoff. The guys will be here today with the coverage here on the Nuke the House channel, and of course, it's not all about college football today. We know we got UFC Paris, so stay tuned here on Nuke the House for Keg and the guys. Not only will they obviously have uh, a little bit of college football, certainly they'll be watching as well, but UFC Paris coming up here at the top of the hour as well. So it's going to be a jam-packed day here, and we don't have much time. I've got about 25 minutes. I'm going to cover about 6 or 7 of the best college football games today. So thank you for joining me here on Nuke the House. And not only am I here to give you some free winners here, but I've got my premium picks here at Nuke the House. I got a group of plays here, and you can check them out behind the paywall here on Nuke the House. Don't miss one single college or NFL bet from the guys here. Our team of bettors was up over 128 units last season in the NFL. You see Keg's numbers already running it. Hey, I'm just lucky to be back here in week number 2, so I've toned it down a little bit and maybe just laid off some of the heavyweights here, and I'm going to go with my best plays here. When you subscribe to Nuke the House, we bet all the NFL games, and of course they'll have coverage today with college football and the UFC live betting coming up, and you can get our picks by watching our live betting shows or sign up for our live betting notifications that come right to your mobile device. I'll be posting my college football plays all season long, as I did in week 0 and week 1, and I'm back at it here trying to bring some winners in week 2. Promise you I can bring home some winners. We brought some winners on the free picks last week, so visit nukethehouse.com, sign up for any plan. We won't charge you unless you want to be charged. Use the code Nuke the House for 1 free week. That's Nuke the House for 1 free week at Nuke the House. Come join the winners here at Nuke the House. Also, you see that code right there, NFL 40. That'll lock you in at 40% off for the NFL season at nukethehouse.com. All right, I want to thank everyone here for joining me on the Nuke the House channel, preview some of the action here and get you underway for the big noon kickoff. And let's start it off here with our previews. I want to say hello to some folks in the chat here as well. Oh, Nuke Smoke says, am I mute? Am I? Okay, thank you. Boy, we don't want Solo, hey, hello, Michael. Nice to see you in there. And we're ready to go here with preview some of the best games here today on Nuke the House. Let's go to the action here. First off, hey, we've got to have Iowa here for sure, right? With Iowa and Iowa State. What kind of game are we going to get here with Iowa and Iowa State today, right? Are we going to go back to the old days, well, I won't say old days, the last few years with Iowa and Iowa State, or could we see some production out of this Iowa offense here? You know, they brought in a pretty good quarterback here right now, right? They brought in Gronowski. Remember, he was the guy that led South Dakota State, and remember how great they were. I mean, this is really Iowa. It feels like their best quarterback in years here right now. And I don't know. I think they're being overlooked a little bit so far. I mean, yeah, they drubbed one AA team last week, 34-7, but you know, they've got some guys here returning. We know that in Iowa, they don't have losing seasons in at Iowa, so it's been almost 15 years since they've had a losing season. Now, since 2021, the Hawkeyes are 7-4 against the spread as an underdog. Kirk Ferentz, he's always been a good underdog coach, 53-44. That's pretty good. Iowa also 15-9 against the spread in non-conference games. So, look, I think for Iowa here, I mean, I don't know if we've seen what we might get from this Iowa team, because Gronowski, I think he can be the big difference maker for Iowa this year. I mean, I'm not saying the expectations are through the roof necessarily, but I think when you got a quarterback like this leading your program, I think that's a big positive. And of course, we know that the road teams always dominate in this series right now. I mean, it's been quite a run for Iowa here, winning 6 straight games at Iowa State. Coming into this one. So Iowa's gone over in 10 of their last 14. They've won 5 of their last 7 dating back to last year. Iowa State has covered 4 of their last 5 dating back to last season. 5 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams have gone under, but I don't care. I want to go over here in this one. I know we've got this total kind of slammed down here. In fact, if anything, it's kind of gone up a little bit. Maybe we were expecting, and I think some people might still be expecting a typical Iowa State game. But man, let's just see how Gronowski fares here, right? The total at 43. Give me the over in this one with Iowa and Iowa State. I might be kind of standing out like a sore thumb with this prediction today, especially with the total now at 43. It was as low as 41.5, but just let's see what Gronowski, they've got the man here, I believe, here at Iowa. So we'll see here, but give me the over in this one with Iowa and Iowa State. I know it's been tricky here a little bit, everyone talking under city, I'm sure, but I'm going to have to go with the over. I'm going to have to be a little bit of a contrarian. I think I'm a contrarian with this game, talking about Iowa and Iowa State. Nice to see Lucky Power in the chat. He says, take Iowa. Bobby Max over here as well. Thank you, Robert, for coming on over here and catching a few more picks with us here on the show. Give me the over, though. I wish we had a little better number here in this one, but you can get my top play in this game right here. I don't want to give it away, but I'm behind the paywall today. I've got 3 plays up. Maybe I just dial it back a little bit. Promise these guys to bring them some winners here this season, so we got to get with it here. I might not make it all season, but I'm going to take the over in this one. All right, we're previewing some of the best games here today, including this one with Illinois taking on Duke. Yeah, sure, this does feel like a pretty good game here with these two, with Illinois here on the road, going up against the Blue Devils. A non-conference action here in this one for the Illini here. They come in with a record of 1-0. Yeah, another one that drilled another 1AA last week, but coming in with a senior quarterback with a couple of years experience on Illinois and Altmaier. Illinois 10-3 last year, just their second winning season in the last 10 years. Bielema, remember all of his successes at Wisconsin, but here at Illinois, he's already 15-4 against the spread on the road so far, 17-13 in his career as a road favorite. But Big Ten teams were 3-11 last week against the spread. Now Duke, they've got that Tulane quarterback Mensa, kind of like me, Mensa, right? Mensa threw for 389 yards last week as Duke won big time, 45-17 in their 1AA tune-up, if you will. Mensa comes over from Duke. He's getting paid $4 million from Tulane. He's getting paid like $4 million a year over at Illinois. So, or here at Duke. So, Duke, their issues kind of on the offensive line, not a lot of returning starters. There are a couple of them, I think, on that offensive line. Duke 10-6 is an underdog over the last 3 seasons, 10-6 against the spread. Manny Diaz is 11-3 against the spread as an underdog, and Duke 13-7 against the spread in non-conference games out of the pandemic. This is the first meeting between these two teams in 25 years when Illinois takes on Duke here today. So for me in this one, I got to go over. I got another over here in this one with Illinois and Duke here today. you look at this, I think when you look at this matchup, I mean, look, you've got, I think, some quarterbacks that can get it done. Duke has gone over in 5 of their last 7, dating back to last season. So I'm going to have to try the over here in this one as my play here on the show. I'm going to bring you some action here. Give me the over with Illinois and Duke. All right. Thank you for joining me here on Nuke the House for the previews today as we lead you up to the big noon kickoff and action coming up with that Iowa State game here at the top of the hour. Let's keep it moving here right now. I'm trying to squeeze in 6 games if we can here and take a look at this next one with Mississippi taking on Kentucky in this one. Hey, we're in conference play now, huh? With Ole Miss on the road taking on the Wildcats for Ole Miss here. They won last week just 63-7 over Georgia State as Ole Miss was a 33-point favorite. Yeah, they might have covered. They gained nearly 700 yards of total offense, and the quarterback, Simmons, looked pretty good for sure. 20 of 31, 341 yards passing. Under Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss is 10-5 against the spread as a road favorite, although Kiffin is just 17-22 against the spread in the SEC. Kentucky finally got it done last week. It was a bit of a struggle against Toledo as they won at 24-16. The Rockets actually outgained the Wildcats 329-305 in that one. You know, Kentucky has one of the most veteran offensive lines in the country here, and they've got a senior quarterback that he's been around a little bit. Calzada of the Wildcats, he started nearly 2 seasons at Texas A&M. Then he went to Auburn for a year, I think, and then he's been at Incarnate Word for the last 3 years. This guy, I don't know how many years has he been in college football. 7 years here, it seems like right now. Kentucky 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games as a home underdog. Kentucky here has lost 7 of the last 10 games in this series, although this is Ole Miss's first trip to Lexington in 5 years. I think they last time was the pandemic season. So for me in this one, I like Ole Miss actually to roll, or I'm sorry, I like the under here in this one. I like Kentucky actually, but my play here on the Nuke the House channel is going to be on the under here in this one with Ole Miss and Kentucky. I like the under actually in this matchup with Ole Miss and Kentucky. All right, and let's see here. And your comments are welcome. I'd love to hear from you guys in the chat. One of my favorite things to do is hear from the chat as I preview the games. So, all right, let's keep it going right now. Here we got 15 minutes before the top of the hour. And remember, UFC coverage from Paris is going to highlight with the guys here today. Kansas and Mizzou. Oh, man, the border war is back. What is going Hey, you know, one thing that all these shifting conferences has done is kind of ruin things for some of these great matchups. It sure is awesome that Kansas and Missouri can get their series back together. You know, these two programs, or these two, well, I would say more like their fan bases, hate each other so much. They can't even agree on who's won how many games in the long history of this series, and it goes back like 120 years. But they can't even decide who's won more games. They hate each other so much. So Kansas comes in 2-0. They beat Fresno 31-7, and then they whacked one double A team 46-7. Of course, Jaden Daniels here, great season last year, and probably feels like he's off to a pretty good start here as well already. For Leopold, though, he's just 13-21 in his career as a road dog, as a head coach, and Kansas is just 7-11 with him as a road dog. But Kansas 8-4 against the spread in their last 12 non-conference games. And right, this is old Big 8 conference there, right? Last week, a pretty good week For the Big 12, they were 5-2 against the spread. Now Missouri comes in; they won last week, 61-6 over one AA club. Uh, for the last 2 years, their quarterback Pribula was a backup at Penn State, but so far so good, I'd say, for Pribula. Uh, they are 5.5 point favorites here, and the total is 50 here in this one. Missouri 6-2 against the spread as a favorite last season, although under Coach Drinkwitz, Missouri 8-12 against the spread as a home favorite. These two teams have not met in 14 years coming in. So, man, you know what? It feels like Missouri here may have Kansas where they want them. Look, I love Daniels as much as the next guy, but with this rivalry or non-rivalry that's back on, this is going to be wild here. It feels like today. I got to go over again. I feel square coming on the Nuke the House channel. Maybe I'm just a desperate square after last week, but I've got the over here in this one with Kansas and Missouri here today. The widely reported steam did come in on this game, but still hanging out here around 50 or so. It opened as high as 54. So discount off those openers. I still like it over. I prefer it over here in this one with Kansas and Missouri. Okay. And we're going to keep moving on here. I think mostly this 3:30 block of games, the 3:30 Eastern block, is kind of the better games here today for sure. Let's move on to the next one here. I'm going to try to squeeze in some free picks with you here, but you can get my best picks behind the paywall here at Nuke the House. Don't forget, use that promo code NFL40 to lock in 40% off the NFL plays. Okay, Fresno State and Oregon State. This feels like a pretty good one here as well today. Fresno State split its first two games. They've had problems with turnovers for sure, -5 so far already. You know, Fresno State brought in a championship coach from North Dakota State, won a couple of national titles at the FCS level. E.J. Warner, of course, quarterback for Fresno State, came from Temple, came from Rice, basically almost three full seasons of quarterbacking experience. Fresno's 12-6 against the spread as a road underdog, and Fresno 15-8 against the spread their last 23 games as an underdog in general. Now, the Bulldogs ran the ball for just 37 yards against Kansas, but they bounced back with 350 against Georgia Southern. You know, the Mountain West was 8-4 against the spread last week in their non-conference matchups. So for the Beavers here, they lost at home to Cal last week, 34-15 as a 1.5 point dog. So they looked flat, to say the least, coming into this one. For the Beavers, they have a junior quarterback here in Murphy who started at Duke. We're going full circle. We just talked about Duke. Yeah, the former Duke quarterback, he's over here with Oregon State now. Oregon State 1-3 as a home favorite last year against the spread, but looking back, I mean, that was maybe a little bit of an anomaly. They were 12-2 against the spread in the 2 years prior, 3 years prior to that. As a home favorite. And, well, they're still hanging on here as a home favorite. We'll give them a little bit of credit here for being a home favorite. The Beavers, we can't tell you what league they're in. They're not in a league until next year when they go back to the pack, or stay in the pack, if you will, with some of those new teams. The Beavers are just 4-9 against the spread in their last 13 games overall. Oregon State won the last meeting 2 years ago, 35-32. It was a pick'em on that day. So Fresno State here has lost 5 of their last 7 games overall, but Oregon State 2-7 against the spread their last 9 games dating back to last season. Also 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games at home. And Oregon State's actually dropped 5 straight games to Mountain West foes, which that's who they're going to be playing here in the future, actually. So this is kind of a preview of the future here, feels like a little bit. When Fresno State takes on Oregon State here today. So, all right, I'm going to take a shot here at the total here in this one with Fresno State and Oregon State. For me, I got to go over here. I'm going over in every game. I mean, what a square here, but maybe that's the way it just works out here for me. I like this Fresno State Oregon State game to go over here. Okay, anybody can come on here and pick a bunch of overs, but I am doing it. Hey, good morning to JW. Nice to see you here as well. And Smoke figured it out. All right, next up. Let me see here. Gotta work my magic here on the graphics. We're running out of time here. Boston College. I wanted to get another game in here, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get them all in. Got to talk faster. Boston College here taking on Michigan State. Michigan State a favorite by 3.5, total 46. BC rocked last week their 1AA opponent, and they threw for 450 yards with their sophomore quarterback, Lonergan, the former backup at Alabama. Boston College here with O'Brien, 10-5. ATS as an underdog. ACC struggled a little bit last week, 4-6 against the spread to open up, and the last 3 years, ACC teams have not fared very well in non-conference games, 4-10 against the spread in the last 3 seasons. For Michigan State here, they beat Western Michigan 23-6 at home last week as a 22-point favorite. That doesn't sit well. Probably their junior quarterback has about a year's worth of experience. Childs, 12 games here. Last 3 years, the Spartans have struggled, winning just 14 games, so they're trying to get things moving in the right direction in East Lansing. Michigan State just 0-5 in their last 5 games as a home favorite, but Coach Smith is 15-7 against the spread as a home favorite. He had a terrific record before that. So Spartans were 9-4 against the spread in their last 13 non-conference games. The Big Ten was 3-11 last week against the spread nationwide, if you know what I mean. So, all right, Boston College here taking on Michigan State here in this one. And for me, I'm going to look to the total here, and I've got this one under. I've got an under, believe it or not. Hey, if you're not familiar with me, I'm an under guy, okay? Just because I've just rattled off 4 overs in a row or whatever we had, that's not me, okay? That's just the way. Got to be truthful. Got to be true to myself here a little bit. I've got this one with Boston College and Michigan State to go under 46 here in this one. All right, I got to keep it moving here right now. I kind of leaving some of the content on the cutting room floor. Half an hour. It goes fast here on the Nuke the House channel, having fun. We've only got 5 minutes left, and I've got a couple more games I want to look at, including Arizona State taking on Mississippi State here in this one. You've got Arizona State on the road, 6.5-point favorite. Total here, 59 in this one. For ASU here, let me get the notes here. A little bit for this one. All right. Oh, man, we're running out of time here a little bit with these two. Man, we got to step on it because I want to get to the big game here certainly tonight with Michigan and Oklahoma. But just real quick, want to at least touch on this one here with Arizona State and Mississippi State. Man, Arizona State on the road. Look, anytime you get an SEC team at home as a dog, you usually go right to them. But Mississippi State's had a couple of rough seasons here of late. It won't move the needle here as a top matchup nationally, but ASU did win the game last year between these two, 30-23 as a 5.5-point home favorite. But Mississippi State looked pretty good last week in their game against Southern Miss, and meanwhile the Sun Devils lost at home, or failed to cover. They won, but they failed to cover against Northern Illinois. So look, Arizona State's going to be able to put up some points here, I think, but are they going to be able to slow down Mississippi State at all? I'm not sure that that's the case here in this matchup, and I might have another over here. I've got a bunch of totals here right now in the games today, and I'm going to go over in this one with Arizona State and Mississippi State. Man, I'm calling for points here. Let's go to the big game of the day, if you want to call it that, and then we're done here on the show, and the guys will be coming along here. I'm sure it won't be too much of a delay. We got to get going with UFC Paris. With that main event between Imavov and Barrio here today. Who do you like in that one? It's a near pick'em. All right, Michigan and Oklahoma here in this one, the big one of the night, it feels like, with the Wolverines coming into Norman. Awkward, but hey, should be a good one with Michigan coming in off that win over New Mexico last week. They were favored by 34 points. They scored 34 points, but they didn't shut out New Mexico in the 34-17 win, but Underwood threw for 250 yards in his college debut. Michigan going with that freshman quarterback, and how's that going to fare in Norman today? I'd have my concerns here. It feels like a little bit. So let's see what you guys think of this one. Michigan 4-1 against the spread their last 5 as a road dog, but Wolverines just 5-8 against the spread non-conference games. And we mentioned the trouble that the Big Ten had certainly last week covering any numbers. They brought in Martindale to run the defense here in Michigan, so that should be okay. Oklahoma beat a D1 AA team last week 35-3. Sooners very uncharacteristic. Basically finishing 6-7 in 2 of the last 3 seasons. They bring in a sophomore quarterback in Mater here, who was a starter last year at Washington State. Coach Venables with Oklahoma, he is 11-5 against the spread as a home favorite, and Oklahoma 9-4 against the spread in their non-conference games. So these two teams have not met, get this, in 25 years. How about that, man? I think Michigan might be in a little bit of trouble here. This total's down to 44. Oh my goodness. Big time total here going low. Can Michigan muster more than a couple of touchdowns here today? I think they're in trouble. And I like Oklahoma here to rock Michigan here. In fact, I'm going to go at Oklahoma and the under. Can I do that here on the Nuke the House channel with my free plays on the show? Give me the under and Oklahoma here as well. I think that's going to do it. I think the guys are going to be along here in just a moment. We've just about reached the top of the hour. So, hey, don't forget to subscribe here for our plays at Nuke the House and get the guys' updates sent right to your phone. I have it. Comes right to the phone, lights up here, and get the plays in the Discord. As well. My plays come up in the Discord as well. And I've got 3 plays for you lined up here at Nuke the House this week. I'm looking to turn it around a little bit. I mean, the guys brought me over here bringing some winners. You catch me on some other channels of hopefully bringing some great winners, but I owe these guys some winners, so I'm not going to go too crazy here today after a little bit of a shaky start. But, hey, anybody who follows me knows that the college football is pretty much one of my strong suits. So we will get it turned around here. Don't forget, stay tuned for the guys here next right now with the they'll be mostly like I said, the focus will be on UFC with the guys, but they're going to be following the college football as well. So get ready and get set for UFC Paris here on the Nuke the House channel. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I want to thank the guys here for allowing me to come back this week and hopefully pick some winners here on Nuke the House. All right, that's going to do it. Enjoy the UFC. Enjoy the college football today here as well. Should be an awesome day. Maybe not as good as last week, but still should be pretty awesome. All right, for the Nuke the House channel, I'm Ramon Scott. So long. Final.